After being named the 2013 NBA Most Improved Player, a couple of All-NBA third-team nods, and an All-Defensive first-team selection, he led his team in two epic showdowns against the LeBron-led Miami Heat in 2013 and 2014. Back at that time, a lot of fans really saw this guy as the next man up, a legitimate superstar, a guy who would possibly be the NBA's best two-way player for years to come. But it wasn't only his smooth shooting stroke and high-flying athletic ability that made him look like the next elite star to come out of the East. The guy is also gifted with the ability to guard any team's best player thanks to his crazy length and speed. At that time, he looked like a future MVP and an alpha player, but now, why is he being criticized by fans so much? Has his occasional shooting woes really hurt his team's winning chances? Or is he not good enough even as a second option in a championship contending team? What's good, guys? My name is Riro and join me as we take a look at the evolution of Paul George or playoffp.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I'm used to this. Y'all ain't met playoffp yet, huh?
For Indiana fans, the 2014 offseason is probably a period which would rather be forgotten. After suffering a gruesome compound lower leg bone fracture in one of Team USA's scrimmages, many have cast their doubts on the star forward's future. But for some reason, George was able to make his basketball return just 8 months after what looked like a career-altering injury. PG returned to the court looking rusty and lacking the lift he once had, seemingly confirmed what doubters had in mind. But entered the 2015 to 2016 season, George once again looked like its old self, and in the first round against Toronto, the guy averaged 27.3 points, shot 42% from deep, and averaged 2 steals per game despite losing in 7 games. The following season was no different. PG was once again great in the first round series against the Cavs, individually that is, as he averaged a then career playoff best 28 points a game despite losing again in round 1. Personally, I think that these first 2 seasons post-injury was some of PG's best seasons despite not making it deep in the playoffs. But were these losses a direct result of PG lacking a legit second star, or was it that the Raptors and Cavs were just far better? Whatever the reason was, I believe PG would have maintained his dominant stats if he just stayed in Indiana, which is already a given, but obviously, the guy wanted some more other than just having Jeff Teague, Lance Stephenson, or Miles Turner as his supporting cast. In short, the guy wanted to win now. Moving on from Indy, PG finally entered Sidekick Mode as he was traded to the OKC Thunder during the 2017 offseason. He was suddenly part of the infamous OK3 experiment with then reigning MVP Russell Westbrook and Melo. Here, we finally saw George take on a secondary role even though OKC's system still allowed him to thrive in a lot of isolation plays. Eventually, the Thunder entered the postseason as the much-favored 4th seed facing the Jazz led by rookie Donovan Mitchell, and then, we finally witnessed the birth of playoffp. During the 2018 OKC vs Utah first-round series, playoffp did what was expected of him as he had a steady stat line of 24.7 points and 6 boards throughout the series. However, he only shot 42% from the field, and clearly, this wasn't enough to take down a determined Jazz squad. After watching that series, I thought PG didn't really get a good continuity on his rhythm throughout those 6 games, and in the series finale, PG had one of the most embarrassing performances of his playoff career when in 45 minutes, he only scored 5 points and shot a frustrating 2 out of 16 from the field and 0 out of 6 from deep. Well, if you thought playoffp was actually a hoax, then this was surely the game to prove your point. However, in the next season, PG actually had one of his best overall playing years, as he ended on the top 3 of MVP voting. Arguably, he somehow took over the reins from Russell Westbrook, at least during the regular season. George averaged convincing 28 points per game while shooting almost 40% from deep. On top of that, he showed his elite disruptiveness after leading the league in total steals and steals per game. However, Towards the final stretch of the regular season, PG experienced a lingering shoulder issue which bothered him up until the duration of the playoffs. Well, in my opinion, playoffp did great in the first round series against Damian Lillard's Blazers as he put up 28.6 ppg, but struggled with the 3-ball via a 32% shooting clip. And of course, there's that epic Lillard series clinching shot that will forever put playoffp in a bad light.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bad shot.
For the third straight postseason, PG is once again criticized for his subpar playoff shooting woes, and right now, he is in the middle of battling it out against the Mavs in round 1 of the 2020 playoffs. As of the making of this video, playoffp just secured the Clippers a crucial Game 5 win after recording 35 points on an excellent 12 of 18 shooting rate. But of course, most fans would opt not to forget his previous stretch in between games 2 to 4, where all in all, PG averaged 11.3 points with 21.3% field goal shooting clip and a jaw-dropping 16% from the 3-ball. Well, here's the thing. Even if PG eventually wins a championship after all is said and done, most fans might still end up pointing fingers at him and blaming him for a number of poor playoff performances, especially in the clutch. Personally, I believe that PG is a really special player who can impact his team in many ways, even in an off night scoring-wise. And in a lot of ways, I believe he is sometimes unfairly criticized. I believe that his defensive abilities fit right in with this current LA Clippers squad, and it just happens that he ended up teaming with one of the most efficient players, which happens to be another defensive beast in Kawhi Leonard. Personally, I feel like his previous injury took a bad toll on his lift and caused him to play with more caution. And although I want to see more of the Indiana PG who constantly attack the rim with no regard for defenders whatsoever, that might not be the best thing to do for him at this point in his career, however frustrating that may sound. PG might not be the alpha player he once was, but as long as he plays the right way and sticks to his game, him and Kawhi will have their championship windows open for at least another year. After all, this guy is a multiple-time All-Star and all-defense guy, and teams definitely won't find a lot of legit two-way guys like him around the league.
playoffp is wins and loss. playoffp is out there regardless.
Thank you guys for sticking until the end of the video, and if you've enjoyed this one, please help me promote my content by subscribing to my channel. It would be a great help for me as a new content creator. Also, don't forget to smash the like button. Again, this is Riro Balls, and see you in my next video. Peace.